the motherfucking internet, and welcome to season 382, episode 3 of the Daily Zeitgeist, a production of iHeartRadio. This is the podcast where we take a deep dive into America's shared consciousness. It is Wednesday, April 2nd. You said what day it is? It's National DIY Day. It's National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day, National Walking Day, National Ferret Day, National Reconciliation Day. I hope, but make it a good kind of reconciliation day rather than having some like Republican reach out and be like, can we reconcile over my racism? And just, can we get over that? No. But healthy reconciliation is a fantastic thing. My name is Miles Gray, a.k.a. I turned off that computer. How you do that? I turned on that computer. How you do that? I FaceTime Steven Crowder. How you do that? I even reset the router. How you do that? Okay, shout out on the Discord. Now, look, I took a couple liberties with the lyrics there, but that was from First Blood 522. Shaggy, it wasn't me. We all know how Donald Trump is in awe of his child because he's good at computer. And he said, how you do that when you turn it back on?
Turn that laptop on. How you do that?
How you do that?
Press power.
It wasn't me, okay?
Normally I get my servants to do that.
Yes, exactly. And you, my child, are mine. But look, I'm thrilled to be joined by my guest co-host today. Chicago's very own son.
Wow.
One of the men with, I'd say, a pristine posterior due to his embrace of the technological blessing that is the bidet or bidet, if you will. You can catch him
clean.
Exactly. Ass clean, teeth clean, everything clean, sack moist. Okay. You can catch him on Dropout TV. You can catch him on Comedian Clash. Shit, you may have even seen him on random fantastic shows here and there because that's what this man does. He is supremely talented. He has the voice of a fucking angel. Please welcome to the microphone, Mr. Jacquis Neal.
Something has changed within me.
Oh.
The show's on video now. Now you see how our blemishes are all around. Our faces are moisturized. Our teeth are clean and deep. And so I ask you, save some Daily Zeitgeist for me. So me and Miles. Oh, what up, niggas? How we doing? Wow. Oh, shit. Hit you with that wicked.
That was fucking wicked, baby.
That was wicked. Hit you with that Cynthia in I'm gonna fuck this black queen's name up. Hit you with that Cynthia. Hit you with that Arivo. That's right. I was gonna call her Invero.
Yeah. In utero. Fantastic. Keith, how have you been, man? It's been too long.
Oh, man. You know, we out in these streets. We feeling good. We feeling right.
Yep.
I've only had to rob 2 or 3 people this year, man. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Oh, so things are going well. Love to hear that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, when the robins are down, that's when things are going well.
When the what?
When the robbings are down.
Oh, I thought I heard as Robin as in Batman and Robin.
When Robin is away, things are good for me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jacquis, let's introduce our guest today. A fantastic comedian. You know him. I mean, look, he's been on this show many times. He's a very hilarious guy. You might know him from Rebrand the Pod. Wow. Look, we're always blessed to have very funny people on this show. Look, yourself included, present company included. But we are thrilled to be joined today by our guest, Mr. Mort Burke.
Oh.
MB.
What's up? What's up, gentlemen? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Unfortunately, my robbings have been up this year. Tragically, I've been having to knock people off a bunch. Yeah. So, but I'm glad other people are not. You know, I think
that's good, man. You making up for it.
Yeah, that's right. Do you just do the thing like where you pretend you have something under your coat, or do you actually use a weapon?
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, Warner Brothers style, where I do
it's a banana in a trench coat. Yeah,
one of these. Yeah,
ending.
Absolutely.
Man, well, it's great to have everybody here. Mort, we are going to get to know you a little bit first up top, but I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm just going to look, the news is always fucked up. And I know this show is meant to be a distraction, but sometimes I'm also overwhelmed by the sheer volume of fuckery and nonsense and diabolical behavior that I see every day. And I want this show to really be a place of joy, because one thing that I read over and over when I talk about resisting fascism, it's about really being connected to your joy, because that gives you a sense of being alive and it gives you a sense of something to live for, and henceforth you have the power to resist things. So with that in mind, I'm gonna tinker with something. Y'all let me know, Zeitgang, if you prefer this, but for me, I think this is going to be good. I'm just gonna rattle off some of the top headlines really quick, so we at least are informed. And if you would like to go further, there's always the footnotes for you.
Footnotes.
But I'm not going to subject everyone to my outrage all the time. I will, trust me, the outrage will continue. But I also want to be sensitive with everybody's hearts, because I also want people to come to the show and enjoy themselves. And I also want to enjoy recording the show too. So before we get to know you, Mort, here are the top headlines of fuckery. Let me take a deep breath. So the
headlines.
So the U.S. was added to global human rights watch list after civil liberties increasingly threatened. So we were added to the Civic U.S. Monitor watch list. It's called, I say Civic U.S. because I'm so America-centric, Civicus Monitor watch list, which is basically a naughty or nice tool that checks on people that are cranking down on civil liberties. And the United States has the terrible the terrible dishonor of being moved. So the labels go from open, narrowed, obstructed, repressed, or closed. The United States has moved from open to narrowed. And you guessed it, it's for things like crackdowns on pro-Palestinian protesters, the Trump administration basically dismantling the entire systems of checks and balances that we had, as well as, media suppression and things like that. So there's that. Next up, we have some good news from Alabama, where abortion advocates got a win. So a federal judge in Montgomery, Alabama, has ruled that the Attorney General, Steve Marshall, his threats to prosecute abortion advocates violate fundamental protections for free speech and the right to travel. So the Attorney General there was threatening to use a criminal conspiracy statute from 1896 to prosecute anyone who helped pregnant patients obtain an abortion in another state. These charges were potentially punishable by decades in prison. More reporting on that from Mother Jones in the footnotes. Let's take it to Europe, where the far right has taken a bit of a L. Okay, so after a 9-week trial and a nearly decade of investigations, we all know Marine Le Pen as that far-right French freak over there. She has been convicted in a French court of embezzling European Union funds. She and 24 other people from her political party used over 3 million euros of European Parliament funds to pay her own staff in like an embezzlement scheme. She's been sentenced to 4 years in prison, but it's white people prison, so it's 2 years on house arrest and 2 years suspended. But the good news is she's also barred from seeking public office for 5 years, starting immediately. And that's pretty good timing in terms of presidential elections in France. This is a blow to the French far right, but in 2024 European elections and polls, obviously we saw it all over, significant shift to the far right in places like Portugal, France, Belgium, and Austria. And we've heard this many times before. Political science experts say the shift to the right, same reason why white supremacy is so popping in the US right now: desperation and xenophobia, and leaders not pointing the finger at inequality and in fact just being like, it's because of these other people that's why you have no money and the oligarchs have so much money. Really fucked up story from Maryland. A Salvadorian national who's living in Maryland legally was wrongly deported to El Salvador. The Department of Justice even admitted that in court papers that were filed Monday. Aside from just being accused in court of being in a gang and just having tattoos, there's nothing to indicate that he was part of any kind of gang, and has also never been convicted of any kind of gang-related crime. He is currently in a terrible, fucked up prison in El Salvador. Lawyers are saying, you need to bring him back. The Trump administration in court basically said, maybe that was a mistake on our part, but our hands are tied and there's not much we can do. It's pretty diabolical in terms of just merely trying to tell people up front that they can decide who gets to stay and who doesn't, and for just any arbitrary reason. So those are some of the top fucked up headlines. And without further ado, let's swing the focus back to our guest, Mort Burke. I hope that wasn't too That was a lot I crammed in there. But we got to eat our vegetables so we can have dessert and fuck around today. Mort Burke,
now we can talk about porn.
Now we can talk about porn and greasing up our balls. But Mort Burke, what is something from your search history that's revealing about who you are?
Yo, I was just looking up Carl Jung's explanation of synchronicity, just because I find that sort of interesting, and I'm noticing more synchronicities in my life.
Okay. Now, I only know the Police album, Synchronicity, but I'm not much up on Jungian theories.
Yeah, you're more into like Sting's psychological theories and stuff.
Absolutely.
More so than,
What educate me?
So so he just talks about the occurrence of meaningful coincidences that seem to have no cause, right? So something for me, it'll be like something will come up in my life, and then something will come up again, or I'll be thinking about something and somebody will say it. It's like this weird thing that happens. And he would talk about how we find it meaningful because it suggests that things are connected in a way that we can't see. Like it suggests patterns that are beyond our ability to understand. So it's sort of this weird, like magical thing that happens.
That's tight.
And if you're like if you're a spiritual dude like I am, people think it suggests that you're like on the right path somehow.
Like if you notice like a bunch of synchronicities, you mean?
Yep, you're probably going in the right direction.
I think it's like an optimist's confirmation bias. That's pretty healthy.
I've noticed. There was a time when I noticed like a bunch of synchronicities, and then I was like out in a cabin, like in a beach town with some family members, and I just kept noticing shit lining up. It was just like kept lining up, and like at night, like I looked out my window and saw like other people who were exactly like us, and they like broke into my house, and like they looked just like me and my family, and they were like living underground. This is the plot of Us. If I love how you guys were like,
yeah, no, you really
I couldn't believe it when you got to the part that broke into your house. I was like, no, the story got sad.
Look, I didn't want to be like, motherfucker, that's us. But again, I wanted to honor your truth.
You never know. These things can happen.
Look,
we should have let you describe the rest of the podcast. Should have been you just describing us in its entirety, and us being. And we're like, no.
and then at the end of the next morning, like a bunch of people were just holding hands across America.
Oh shit, Mort, what is something you think is underrated?
I'm really into slip-on shoes right now.
Oh,
I feel like slip-on shoes are like what you would. I love slip-on shoes like Elon loves amphetamines. To me, they feel like just what you're going to wear in the future on the moon,
Yeah.
Like, I just love not fucking with shoelaces.
What kind of like a Vans slip-on? You wearing, I was going to say more, I know you're a skater. I feel like you got the Vans slip-on probably.
Yeah, I'll do a Van. I got 2 pairs of slip-on Americas right now. Not my favorite company necessarily, but they make this dude, Leo Romero, professional skateboard, had a really nice all silver. Every time I wear them, comedians roast me for them. They'll be like, those look like the Tin Man's bowling shoes or whatever. But I love them. I think they're sick. I like one piece to be kind of take precedence over the whole
Yeah. Oh, these
slip-ons are tight. Slip-ons are tight. I mean, like I'm a sneaker guy. I got a lot of shoes.
I used to.
But like all my, I know it's been like I've been not buying as many over the past year or so. But I have a lot of shoes. But most of my gym shoes, when I first get them, I do like the laces and shit. And like I do them mostly so I can just slip them on. Like, even if they're tied. Even if they're tied.
Yeah.
Even if they're tied, they are like loose enough where I can just slip them on. There are very few shoes that I have to like actually get down and tie.
It's like I'm going to a wedding if I'm doing that kind of shit.
Right.
I have to tie a dress because I don't wear shoes in my house. So I like always, since a child, I never wore shoes in the house. So my whole thing was being able to slip shit off real quick. I didn't need to.
I feel like an elderly person, but in a good way. Like I'm limiting the amount of physical movement I need. Just like simple out the door.
Mort, I don't know how old you are, but like if you are over the age of 37, we are technically middle age now. So
yeah,
we're getting old, man. We're getting old.
I feel it.
Expectancy, like
Yeah. Based on life expectancy. That isn't that what it's based off? Like the average life expectancy. Once you're hit the middle point of that, you're middle age.
I mean, look at us. How fucking beautiful.
It happened the other day. I was like, my body was feeling old, and I was like, this is great. Like, is there because I'm 45. Is there a better excuse for not doing something than being like, I'm 50 years old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In 5 years, I'm going to be like,
I feel like that's a millennial. That's going to be a millennial thing where we are just like, dude, we're fucking 50, bro. We're cooked, man. Just fucking leave me alone.
Crazy, dude.
Like,
time to relax.
Like every time I think about being 40, I laugh at myself. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I'm 40. What the hell? I feel like I'm 19 mentally, which is not a good thing.
I moved to LA when I was 26. I'm now 38. I'll be 39 this year. Yeah. I'm closer to 50 than I am 26 when I moved to Los Angeles, which
is so spooky. When
crazy.
You start shit, we're like, I'm actually further from this point in time than I was. It's, you know what?
It's too much.
Time is a fucking bastard. I'll tell you that. Mort, what's something you think is overrated?
So I watched Scorsese's Gangs of New York a little while ago, and it's got America's one of our greatest actors, even though he's from Ireland or whatever. But this movie is...
Wait, you started Daniel Day-Lewis, one of America's great...
I don't know. He's in a lot of American shit. Yeah. I mean, he did play Lincoln. That's pretty American.
You know, yeah.
But yeah, he's the most Irish man in the world when you hear him talk. But this movie is the least subtle film I've ever seen in my life. Like,
wait, he's English technically. Yeah, he's English.
Is he?
Yeah, he was born.
Really?
He's born in London.
I mean, you're acting very
Irish. I don't know. Look, we're so American. Like, I don't know. He acts Irish.
He's somewhere in England. Oh, he's somewhere in Europe. I mean, somewhere in Europe.
Okay, no, you're right. His father is Irish.
But yeah, because he's got that whole I'm a mystical poet thing or whatever the Irish love to do. You know what I mean? Which I believe in. I'm Irish, so I relate to it. But he looks like in this movie, he's got eyebrows and a mustache the size of like loaves of bread. Yeah. Like he looks like Wooly Willy. If you ever played that magnet thing where you like put like weird magnets on. Yeah, he looks like Wooly Willy. So there's this point in this movie where he throws a knife at Cameron Diaz and it goes boom, 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 like right next to her head. You know. Then our greatest actor turns to the camera and goes like this. Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
It's like
he does this to camera. He does that to camera.
Yes.
Crazy.
Dude.
Does he break the fourth wall? He breaks the fourth wall there?
Well, look, there's something. He's like on stage, so he's kind of doing it to the audience, but it's directly down the barrel of the camera, so it looks like a child's version of acting. You know what I mean? Like it looks like what a 9-year-old would. You put crazy makeup on, and you go like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, and it's also hyper violent. I was like, I think this movie's a little. This is a hot take, you guys. This is a Scorsese.
I've never seen Gangs of New York. It looked boring as fuck.
The opening scene is cool because it just starts off with a wild ass battle, and you got all these like weird like Irish immigrants coming out the gutter and shit to fight these other people. It starts off with all these different little weird pockets of gangs. That part's cool, but then it's like then it's 3 more hours of Cameron Diaz trying not to look attractive. It's weird. Yeah, it is weird. Like they really try to be like, what would she look like if?
So hard. They like. Why not just hire an unattractive woman to do it instead of taking a beautiful woman and putting like just soil on her face?
That part in Gangs in New York, though, when he tells a little boy, he's like, when Liam Neeson, he's like, and who is this son? It's Saint Michael. And what did he do? He cast the devil out of paradise. I remember that. I don't know, for whatever reason, this is one line I remember that. I was like, what the fuck is... I remember that was like in the opening. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? They got a lady with fucking steel claws, like she's Wolverine or some shit, but like a fat lady.
See, and that's like they're doing too much in this movie, like obsessed with Catholicism in this weird ancient way. Then you got that like Marvel superhero shit. It's like, give me one of these things. That's an interesting movie.
Brendan Gleeson is just beating the shit out of people with a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Scorsese loves a bit of Catholic violence, doesn't he? Like he had to put that saint shit, and like. What wasn't Liam Neeson's character called like the preacher or some shit? I think like that was his, or I don't even. I think some of these are based off real.
Was
people.
Christian Bale in this movie too?
But he should have been.
He should have been.
It's Leo. DiCaprio's the.
Oh, it's Leo.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I feel like actually Bale would have been a better cast for this movie. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't quite believe Leo as like this street urchin tough guy. Really. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. Not at least. Is this before? This is before Departed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is before he went to Alaska and turned into like a grizzly bear man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we will talk about some wacky shit happening on the internet right after this.
Wow.
And we're back. So, a few weeks ago, you probably remember there was that video from Jubilee, their series Surrounded, where they put out an episode where Sam Sater was debating, quote unquote, 20 of the most ignorant MAGA freaks they could find. And really, it was just like, I don't even know if it was a debate. It was just these fucking sick people just saying the weirdest shit to him. And he's like, no. But anyway, they've upped the stakes this time by having social media personality and sometimes doctor, this guy Dr. Mike, who I was looking into, and like he came to prominence when like BuzzFeed wrote about him 10 years ago. I'd be like, you'll never believe how fucking hot this doctor is. He sat down and to talk to 20 anti-vaxxers, and by talk to, I meant they kept coming at him with a bunch of nonsense. So I just want to kind of go through a couple of these clips because there is a lot of bad stuff in here. And I'm even beginning to question like what the point of these videos are. It just feels like it's a place to just kind of keep recycling bad information. But here, let's take a look at the latest offering from Jubilee.
Okay, I would just say that RFK Jr. does appeal to other experts that even if they're vaccine skeptics, they put forth legitimate studies that would be antithetical to the pro-vaccine studies. So you said earlier, like misinformation. I would ask, who is the author of misinformation?
Who is the author of misinformation?
Yeah, so misinformation, first off, is predicated on the fact that there's a right information. Right information is going to be...
This is like that this is that debater shit I hate. When like you're not even asking a normal question.
You're not like, asking a real question.
Who's the daddy of misinformation?
If there's misinformation, who decide? Like, shut the fuck up.
If there's misinformation, where is Mr. Formation?
Right. Yeah. And it's like, why don't you tell me? Because I'm saying you're receiving misinformation, so you tell me who authored this.
Yeah, like where did you?
How am I supposed to know where you got your crazy bullshit from?
I wish, and with videos like this, I wish two things. I wish that the person that was on the opposing side wasn't nice, and I also wish like DMX was still alive and he was that person, so he could just curse them out. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dog? Dog, what you talking about? Shut your dumb ass up, dog. Like, just
that's you're like, what?
Then he get up and punch him in the fucking fat of their neck.
But then he's like, I'm not a Christian, and he starts praying and crying.
Let us pray. Yeah. God, please allow me not to kill this motherfucker in front of me.
Okay, shit, man. I'll get vaccinated.
He is shirtless and covered in blood. Like, album cover or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Fresh out of jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the type of person that needs to talk to these people. Because reason doesn't matter with them anymore. Yeah. Like, reason does not matter. They're not gonna... I see what you're saying when you're like, what's the point of these videos? Because when they first started coming out during the election, I know you got more to show. When they first started coming out during the election, it was like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. This is cool. Like the little fucking 12-year-old kid who was doing it. And then, but then it gets to a point where you're like, you're not, it's just,
this is just
people on your side are on your side, and the people who are not are going to be on their side. And like, we are not reaching each other. Like,
This video is so clear. Like, I'll let this guy go on with his like misinformation. It's going to be predicated. Okay, with your $10 words. But what are you saying, sir?
It's going to be predicated on the fact that there's absolute truth. Does science state absolute truth?
There's no absolute truth, period.
So if there's no absolute truth within this realm, I don't know why we should completely rule out RFK Jr. and the other experts that he could appeal to.
The reason I rule him out is because he takes information that is not true, like that poppers cause AIDS.
Subjectively true.
It's not subjectively true.
For the time being, because you just said it's provisional truth, meaning it can change with time.
Right, but you can create any sort of statement, and in healthcare, we can't just go off of any statement because someone feels subjectively to be true. We have to do our best to do with limited information that we can.
Dude, so what? Okay, so we just admitted that there is no truth in this realm. Like, now you're debating Gandalf? Like, what the fuck what? Again, the video does a lot more nonsense than it does good. I will go on because that was like sort of the guy with like the real intellectual sort of way of being very contrarian. Then the I do my own research crowd pulls up and just as smug as you would expect kind of goes on to talk about why vaccine bad, and also because I'm an expert on this actually.
Villains when some of the top doctors, some of the doctors that help create PCR tests, some of the doctors that have worked on vaccines have came out and said they're unsafe and we should not give this to our family and friends. How is it that he's a villain? How are we a villain if some of these vaccine creators and scientists are the ones saying we should not get it?
Is there anything I could say today that would change your mind?
I'm just asking your opinion.
I'm asking you a question.
Probably not, because I actually read and study.
Well, if I can't change your mind,
I just want to know your opinion.
Yeah, so I would like to give you my knowledge, my experience, and what I've seen in the hospital system. But if you're telling me right now, no matter what I say, you're not going to change your mind, is there any value to that?
Well, I like to study everybody's opinion. I don't like to just say, I believe this, and not further investigate everybody else's opinion.
Lady, you just said there's nothing he can say that will change your mind. So you are not as flexible as you claim to be.
Also, the comment under that video was just, he could pound me all day long.
Yeah, that was the fucking actual caption of this video on Twitter said, Dr. Mike looking even better with the added weight. I don't know how.
We're lost, bro. We are a lost society.
This lady is talking about doing her own research. He looked good with a few extra pounds.
In defense of the anti-vax people, I don't need the doctors to go by their first names anymore. Go ahead and give me your last name like a professional, like a professor. We don't need Dr. Chris, Dr. Kevin anymore. Like I need a last name. Like you have a PhD, dude.
Yeah.
And and this is superficial, but that lady looks like me when I have to get up at 5 a.m. and just got out of the shower. They're not doing her any favors. Not getting the makeup team to.
They have found, again, just such a collection of just. It didn't even stop. This is another guy who, again, that debate style where like someone tells you something that completely is counter to what you believe, and you just go like, well, that's news to me, just to like kind of keep it moving. This is exactly what this guy does again when he sort of like insists. He's like, well, then how come people who are vaccinated are dying? Again, a very ironclad line of questioning. But here's this gentleman with his take on vaccines.
Hurts my soul that he black.
That vaccines cause autism.
So they don't cause autism, you're saying?
Correct.
At all?
Correct.
Well, that's news to me. That's
like arguing with your partner. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, and so you don't take out the trash? Well, I mean, not always. Well, that's news to me.
That's news to me.
But we're starting off with, vaccines don't cause autism? No. Huh. Well, that's
you're like, these, there's really like sort of a level of propaganda that we're dealing with. Like he may be being fully honest. Like, that actually is news to me because everything the algorithm is telling me is that vaccines cause autism, which is like, first of all, I love the response of like, so what? Maybe autism is actually not a disability. Like maybe these are a type of person that deserve care and love and value in society.
Right.
And it's hilarious that all that shit directly comes from Jenny McCarthy. Like,
someone singled out what it did to us.
She's the first person I heard say that shit.
She's your thought leader. Like, maybe she should just chill and love her son as he is instead of like launching this arbitrary campaign against healthcare.
Yeah. He goes on again to be like, okay, fine. So you say they don't. He goes on further because Dr. Mike is talking to a genius.
Okay, what about death? Doesn't the vaccine save lives?
Correct. It lowers the death rate. It doesn't prevent it 100%.
Okay. So why are people dying?
Because it's not 100%.
But reality is, majority of the people who were dying were vaccinated people.
Correct, because most people were vaccinated.
My man just had to be like, okay. All right. Okay, Dr. Mike. There are people in these clips, like in the comments, saying this man is not a doctor. And I'll get a little bit more into his background in a second. This clip, this whole video is full of infuriating clips. And I think that's why these aren't useful by any stretch of the imagination. And merely, yes, they have succeeded in enraging me. However, I'm not going to really engage with it in a much deeper level than to say, this isn't doing anything anymore.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. It's supposed to be polarizing. And also, I figured it out that Dr. Mike looks like a hot Bob Saget.
Oh, hot Bob Saget.
I see it a little bit.
Everyone with daddy issues and medical mistrust. Look, this guy offers a lot. This one is particularly fucking wild, where he's asking. I think everybody who listens to the show knows what the answer is to the question this guy's going to ask. But again, watch him just take a wacky left turn out of nowhere.
From 2018 to 2023, if we trust the CDC, their numbers say the most deadly thing for our children, the number one deadly thing, do you happen to know what it is?
Guns.
Accidents.
Oh, sir.
What? First of all, it's just factual that is guns. Then...
Well, I guess the CDC maybe now has vaporized all... I mean, already they were doing a terrible job of even using gun violence statistics as being an epidemic. So I guess in that sense, he's...
Well, it's so funny to broaden, to be like, accidents is so vague. That's like being
it's so vague.
The number one cause of death is not breathing. You're like, yeah, that's what happens to everyone. Cause of death,
your heart stopping.
Yeah, most deaths aren't murders, which by trade make them accidents.
Yes.
Yes.
When these kids accidentally shoot themselves, like, what are you fucking saying? And
what are you saying?
These videos are fucking nonsense. I like Dr. Mike also. There are people who are like, ooh, he looks good or whatever. I'm like reading up on this guy. Very interesting. Like, despite him advocating through like that, he's saying like child safety via vaccination. He seems to enjoy social media posts that are pro child bombing, and maybe doesn't consider Palestinian children among the children that we need to consider whose safety is going on there. And he also gotten a ton of shit from his YouTube viewers because he was partying on a yacht in Miami during like the height of COVID lockdowns. And they were like, what the fuck? All your content is out here about being like, we should be wearing masks. We need to be considering people's like safety. We shouldn't be like recklessly going out and like doing shit like that. And he put this whole video, was like, I was surprised with a yacht trip and I looked up all the procedures and I felt like that was it was very, very odd. So like the more you look into these videos, like the darker they become.
I just
want to say, I want to see one of those 20 experts just mentally body slamming one of these other people.
Yeah, whereas like a dumb person and then a bunch of experts.
But even then, it's going to be the same thing. And I just don't, this isn't.
Yeah. We live in an interesting time right now. Yeah. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is the fact that everything is just more visible with social media. Right. Information is instant now. Mm-hmm. Everybody feels like they need to have an opinion on something. I mean, shit, we're three men on a podcast. Well, everybody feels like we,
three beautiful men.
Three beautiful men who are vaccinated with 14-inch penises. But like,
really stretch it
too long.
Combined.
Oh,
okay. Bring back modesty.
But like, we live in a time where a moron really thinks he knows more than a doctor.
Yeah.
And I like, again, I'm only 38, so, but
it makes sense in 2 years.
It'll make sense. Where did this go wrong?
I mean, I think one bad thing is videos like this. It normalizes these kinds of opinions because they start like, oh, look, it's 20 people who think like me versus a doctor. And I agree with them. I think that is
Right.
actually a really bad part about this is like to platform this much misinformation and then just treat it
Right.
like all these people are like
when in reality, these two people should not be talking to each other. Like they shouldn't be talking to each other. Like the doctor should be talking and one should be listening. That is how it. Like I remember a person who is no longer with us, and not because he's dead, but because like my cousin broke up with him. So he's. But like we were talking about like acting or something like that. Never acted, blah blah blah, and he was coming at me, talking like telling me shit, like and like what you an actor? Anybody can do this, blah blah blah, and like all types of shit. And at a certain point, I was just like, bro, you are not qualified to breathe in front of me on this subject. Like, shut the fuck up.
Where are you?
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. You don't know what you're talking. I went to college for this and I do it professionally. My guy, you're funny to your 3 high school friends at the back of a Chili's. Fuck off. Fuck off.
It's like, this really is like this kind of world we live in. That's why I'm like, I'm advocating for a thing where if you are a science denier, you should be made to move to the part of the earth where climate change is going to destroy everything, because climate change doesn't exist. Right. Or I want to see more people. If you go to an expert, like that expert should be like, first of all, do you believe that I know what I'm talking about? And if they're like, no, then I'm not going to help you.
Then there's nothing
I'm not going to work on your car. I'm not going to help. Like this idea that people that expertise is completely like, I think a lot of what's happened is right-wing media has sort of just created a hostility towards anything about like academic or whatever in general. So then people go, a doctor's just a guy who like looks at a couple charts and then like puts a stethoscope on you. A teacher's just somebody who reads a book or whatever. A physicist is just somebody who just does some math stuff. Anybody can do this. I can't.
Yeah.
But also,
and I love what you're talking about. I think is interesting that like now that I use this analogy that's like the whole world all of a sudden has become a city. Because you know how when you're in a city, you're like closer to people and you learn how to ignore people better. And you're like, oh, that person's crazy. I don't need to engage with them. And all of a sudden, everybody's in this, because of social media connection, everybody's in the exact same proximity as each other. So all of a sudden, everybody's voices are super, super loud, and people are interacting with people that they never ever would have before, like you're saying. You know what I mean? So it's like all of a sudden, if a fucking juggling clown walked in the room, I wouldn't know what to do. You know, you're like, I didn't even know people acted like this.
Right.
You know?
Sure. Yeah. I think it's just a real damning insight into like our deteriorating educational system and how like algorithmic misinformation is just creating these wacky ass just bubbles of non-fact where people believe and hold on to it as if it's real and it appeals for people for X, Y, and Z. But my God, whatever. We'll see what happens from that. We'll see if there's any believers, because the comments section suggests otherwise. Let's take a break. And when we come back, there's some weird ass stuff happening in a Pennsylvania town that I just don't think people have heard of how to help speeding cars, but we'll take a look at that right after this. And we're back. We live in LA. We've lived in LA for some time. Have you seen like residential streets where people go super fast on a residential street? What usually happens? What does the city usually do to make people go slower on a residential street?
Speed bumps.
Yeah, you speed bumps, Miles.
Right.
Or hit a kid and go to jail.
Sometimes they put a kid in the middle of the street.
Sometimes they put a kid in the middle of the street.
There is that. Because so there's a town in Montgomery Township, Pennsylvania. Gray's Lane, I believe, is what it's called. Or is that what it's called? Let me make sure. I sometimes I think my own name is popping up everywhere. It's called Synchronicity.
I've heard of that.
Yes, it is.
You're on the right path.
I was right. It's a very gray episode. Apparently there's a road there where people are going so damn fast. They're like, we got to do something about it. Their solution to this is, I don't even understand what they're trying to do, but you tell me if this is the fucking solution to keep people from speeding down a residential street.
Neighbors agree that speeding is a big problem on Gray's Lane. Many also agree this new street design wasn't the best way to address it.
I don't see how this...
It's wobbly. It's going like this.
Yo, I love this. This is so good.
Stupid.
I want this everywhere. First of all, that would encourage me to drive faster. That's basically like a slalom or like autocrossing.
Yeah. Or I would lean into it to be a dick. I'm like, okay, you want me to drive like this? Fuck. Like tip over my Cybertruck? No, I'm not going to do that. But like even the residents are like, what the fuck is this?
I don't see how this is going to possibly slow down traffic at all.
The yellow and white curved lines that run along 2 blocks of the road were painted on Friday. A Facebook post from the police department says signage along with safety devices called delineators will follow. Most drivers we saw stayed within the lines, but not everybody. Yeah. Mike DiLorenzo, who lives nearby, says the neighborhood wasn't given a heads up about the police department's plans.
They were literally out here yesterday and just put it up, and people coming out of their houses going, what's going on? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I mean,
who designed this fucking Willy Wonka? That is so good, dude. It needs to be more like Mario Kart. You know what I mean? They need ramps.
Yeah,
like,
they need to be Rainbow Road, where it's like you can fall through. I don't know. And there might not be a little turtle that's going to lift you up and put you back onto the track on their cloud.
This is great. I love this. I think it adds a whole level of whimsy to driving that I love.
Yeah, it's Dr. Seuss shit. It's nonsensical. The fucking stupid part is how the municipality is like doubling down on it. They basically said that they, quote, our highway safety, this is from the police department on Facebook. Our highway safety officers and traffic engineers have determined that this is the best course of action for the area to ensure the safety of the local residents. What? A fucking speed bump.
I don't get it. I mean, if I was on this, I would be like, I would do it. But I would speed through it to see if I could fucking make it. Yeah. Like, it makes it more of a, it's like Mario Kart. Like I said, it makes it more of a game. I would have fun with it.
I'm wondering if like somehow you got into some weird accident because the lanes were painted like that. Then you could just sue the city. You're like, I don't know, man. What the fuck is this road? What did you expect?
Of course, because you're weaving in and out of oncoming traffic. I love this, dude. I think this is great. I don't know. I think it's
it looks very fun.
I want there to be like also like a Warner Brothers style, like, you know, map painting of a highway that is actually a wall. You know what I mean? Other obstacles to drive around.
Right, Wile E. Coyote shit.
I also really do love like that nobody knew that this was going on and they just woke up the next morning.
Yeah.
And walked outside and was like, why the fuck are the streets all wiggly?
Yeah. You know, one person, someone thought their blood pressure medication was hitting weird that morning, probably.
Like, you know, they have those things that you like, they make you feel like you're driving drunk. This is a real life version of that.
A real thing. Also, it's so hostile to, like, I guess I'm as someone who rides bikes more and more and more, I'm like, they just said, fuck you to the bike lane. They're like, man, get fucking run over by some asshole because we couldn't put a fucking speed bump down. Y'all, this is the, I don't know, people of Montgomery Township, vote these people out if you can. I don't know if you can, but hey, what the fuck is that? It is fucking nonsense.
Well, you shouldn't have let Charles Bukowski run your federal program. Like, that just looks like a bad alcoholic designing some crazy bullshit.
Yeah. It's like, let's get drunk before we do this. These are straight, right?
What if it was a squiggle? Yeah. Then we wouldn't drive fast.
This is actually the best fucking solution you can do. No, it isn't. We have speed bumps for a reason. And no one's going to be like, oh, I'm going to go slow because I have to kind of go to the left and right to avoid a double yellow. You slow down because you're like, I don't want to fucking launch the backseat of my car up into the fucking air going way too fast over a speed bump. That shit is so infuriating when I go over, like, you know how there's like those kind of smoother, moundy speed bumps, and then there's fucking short, aggressive ones. It feels like you crash.
Bumpy ones.
Those
feel like you're going over potholes.
Yeah,
and shit.
Absolutely. That will stop somebody from speeding because no one wants to fucking feel that shit jolt through their car. But what do I know? I'm just a fucking podcaster with a.
We should ask Dr. Mike, man. Ask Dr. Mike.
Hey, Dr. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, Dr. Mike.
He's too busy.
You mean
Miami.
to tell me this won't slow people down? It slew me down. It slew me down.
Oh, so you must drink with your medication. It slewed me down, bro.
It slewed me down, man.
Slewed me down to the paradise city, the grass is green and titties. What? That's hard.
You heard me. Titties.
It's the blood thinners, man. The thing I shouldn't be drinking on.
Just Dr. Mike in a face full of Miami cocaine. Be like, huh? I like the squiggly road.
Dr. Mike, you know he's hitting that fucking blow, bro.
No, he's hitting that blow, baby.
He's a YouTube doctor. When your whole thing is I'm a YouTube doctor, I'm like you're trading off the fact that you went to medical school because be like, I'm not really trying to be fucking with people like that. I just want people to listen to me because I'm a doctor. Okay.
Yeah. With these legs, baby.
Now, how much for an 8-ball? Yeah. Chalk it up. Okay. Kid Rock was in the White House because he was there to he was dressed in the most ridiculous outfit I've ever seen because I think he's trying to like recreate that meeting between Nixon and Elvis. But what he is talking about was like a real thing. I think anybody who's tried to buy concert tickets recently is like, tickets, you can never buy a ticket for the actual like the face value of a ticket anymore. Like everything gets scooped up by bots or resellers, and now you're paying a fucking ridiculous premium just to see like a regular ass band. So Kid Rock was there, and he was like complaining, I guess, to Donald Trump because now he's directing Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice to like really check into the ticket exchanges like Ticketmaster to make sure they're in compliance with the IRS and relevant laws. And I'm like, you're like, this shit matters, dude. This is like the most lawless fucking like administration. But I guess this is like a low hanging fruit for Trump to be like, I'm doing something good for the regular people. Mm-hmm. Kid Rock, as he was like there to talk about how important this bill is, I can't help but like, he looks like a dude who like, I don't know if like, do you remember in college, there would be someone like hungover, but maybe had to give a presentation and they somehow barely pulled it off, but they did. This is what Kid Rock is like trying to tell this press pool in the Oval Office, how this is like a real much needed executive action from Donald Trump based on his outfit and also how quickly he crosses his fucking arms, like giving up posture wise. Here's Kid Rock telling us all why we need to actually look after us, the little artists, and why ticket costs are too high.
Speed. I know you put, I want to make sure Alina Habba gets her credit too, because I know she worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows it is a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100, by the time you check out, it's $170. You don't know what you can charge for, but more importantly, these bots, they come in.
Like, this whole visual is blowing my mind. He's wearing a fedora with his leather, like, jingoistic salute outfit, all red, white, and blue, arms crossed, like, yeah, I don't know, it's a conundrum, man. Anybody trying to buy a ticket, and yes, fantastic.
He looks like the world's most embarrassing racist stepdad, where he was like, thought it was a good idea to dress proud, and then got in there and was like, this actually is pretty humiliating that I look this way.
Yeah, like the arms crossed suggests that he kind of knows. He's like, man, am I doing too much? Is this even, are people going to take me seriously when I'm dressed like some kind of like Confederate carnival clown?
It's also interesting that all of a sudden regulation is a good idea now, since the predatory nature of capitalism has actually affected your industry.
He does actually.
That's interesting.
He does clear that up. He's like, I'm a capitalist, just so you know, for the record.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't seem like
he
it.
does.
Mm-hmm.
This other part too, like he gives this long speech. It's so long-winded, but there's this other moment where Nepo journalist fucking Peter Doocy is like trying to be like, whoa, check out this guy's outfit, and like trying to make a joke to make him and Donald Trump laugh, and it's just so fucking cringy just watching this dude try and make a joke and get a laugh and kind of like sort of curry favor with the president. Just this moment too, the vibes are so desperate.
Yeah. Did Biden do news conferences like this, Peter? I don't think
so. He was never standing next to somebody who looked like they were about to be shot out of a cannon.
Let me shake your hand, man. What the fuck? It's very odd. It's wild to see just Trump continuing to do. Did Biden do this? Did he sit every time you see him now, like you are, Donald Trump. This dude is always sitting down now. But hey, he's strong. He's ready.
We should bring back assassinations. And I'm not calling for anything. I'm not calling for anything. I'm not calling for anything at all.
Sure, my shit is not bugged right now.
But I'm speaking from a purely entertainment standpoint. Like we got some good movies out of the Lincoln thing. It was high television when Reagan got shot at. Who else got assassinated? Or
JFK.
JFK. We got some good songs out of that. We actually went to the moon after that. We was like, we got to do this. Good things happen. And so, in the next 3 years, I think we should make more good things. No, I'm going to stop. Look for somebody before I get Elon Musk coming at my door.
Don't worry.
We're
going to save you before any of that happens.
I'm surprised Kid Rock didn't do his famous hit, "Don't Call My Beer Gay."
Yeah.
My beer loves women.
Are you sure? What's that outfit?
I thought it was asexual, but all right.
Maybe I just kind of went too hard on the leather again. What am I getting? Oh, man. Well, more.
Isn't it funny, too? Because, didn't Republicans also get upset when, Biden tried to pass the thing to get rid of, junk fees or make, fees more visible at the top and things like that? Or lower overdraft fees, which banks are begging Republicans to overturn and things like that, which they will.
These people have
half.
They have no moral or intellectual consistency. This is the same way. These are the same people who are calling electric vehicles fucking gay and shit. And now they're like, I'm getting me a Cybertruck. Tesla's #1. It's like, y'all they're purely contrarian.
And it's just capitalism doing capitalism. If you haven't noticed, the ticket fees are the exact same as all of the price gouging, all of the inflation, which is that they will continue to pocket as much as possible because it's by its nature predatory, right?
Yeah. That outfit.
So regulation makes sense. Once it touches your industry, all of a sudden it needs to be looked at.
Right, exactly. And it's funny that he even had to qualify it. And he's like, and don't get me wrong, I'm all about deregulation. But up to the point.
Did you say that?
Yeah. Oh, here, that is kind of funny because he has to, I think he also, because Kid Rock, look, he comes from money. He's not he has a bit of an education. I mean, he said conundrum. I don't know if you
wildly misused the word conundrum.
Where is here? Let me just play this clip where he does have to be like, hey, I'm no fucking socialist, man. I just don't want to be taken advantage of by capitalism.
Also, as a 90s hip hop fan, his fucking shift from cultural appropriation of I'm a fucking rap DJ into this right wing bullshit.
Wait, did you guys hear that?
I'm an American badass. Remember that shit?
Most rap shit ever. Okay, here, this is the part where he does. I am a capitalist.
I think this is a great first step. I would love down the road if there would be some legislation we could actually put a cap on the resale of tickets. And I'm a capitalist and a deregulation guy, but they've tried this in some places in Europe, and it seems to be the only thing that's us as.
I think because they're trying this fighting capitalism shit at a bare minimum stuff in Europe. I don't know. I mean, it seems to work, but. Please don't let it affect my fans. I think this guy is trying to, I think he doesn't realize that no one's coming to his shows because nobody fucks with his music. Not because ticket prices are so outrageous. No, brotherfucker. It's because you are so fucking outrageous.
You're outrageous. And we need more of that gay beer, man.
Hey,
I can't go to no show with heterosexual beer.
Oh, no, not me.
No.
Never.
Not me.
Well, Mort Burke, thank you so much for joining us today on the Daily Zeitgeist, man. Where do the people find you, follow you, hear you, all that good shit?
Yes, thank you for having me, gentlemen. You can find me at Mort Burke on all the socials. I'm doing a half an hour at the Lyric Hyperion on Thursday. If you're in LA with my buddy George McCullough, it's going to be fun. Go watch Mythic Quest on Apple TV. I'm on that, and my wife show ran Side Quest, which is a spinoff, which is great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. and listen to Rebrand, our podcast. And thank you so much for having us, you guys. This is a blast, as always.
Us? Wow. Are you?
Yeah, me and my dog, Cody.
Oh, okay. You do contain
the doggo.
Mort, you do contain multitudes. Is there a work of media that you are enjoying?
As the skateboard liaison for the podcast, the new professional skateboarder Tom Karangelov, who I just met in Austin when I went to a sick academic skateboard conference called Slow Impact, which was excellent. Would recommend highly. Shout out to Ryan Lay. Tom Karangelov has a new mini doc on Followed, so go watch. Tom Karangelov has an amazing what do you even call it? Structure and theory in which he finds skateboard spots around where movies have been filmed. He's like a really interesting kind of an artful mind of this guy. It's a good watch. I like him. Plus, a super nice dude. That's the shit I'm into right now.
Oh, like that. Okay, for all the skate advocates out there. And look, we got some Tony Hawk remasters coming out this summer too.
Oh shit!
Friends who missed
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
Little pro skater coming back.
Who is your Tony Hawk skater?
Right now, I think Tyshawn Johnson's going to be in the new one. I would do him. It would have been.
You always use in Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I go Muska, Kareem Campbell. I do it all. Reynolds. I do it all. Alyssa Steamer. There's a lot of excellent.
I was always Rooney Glifberg, all the time.
Oh, you're Rune,
dude.
Danish vert superstar Rune Glifberg.
Got to do all Christ airs all the time. Because I was doing fucking 1080 Christ airs off the fucking roofs in San Francisco, bro. I love that game. Anyway,
loved it.
Thank you so much. Also for guest co-hosting, man. Where do the people find you? Follow you?
You know, listen, it's always a pleasure. I'll be back tomorrow. And you can find me in these streets any other time of the day, week, month, and year. Also, got a couple things I would like to promote, if that's okay with you, Miles. If that's okay. First of all, Comedian Clash is coming to Texas for a little mini tour in June.
Oh.
So if you are in Texas, we are coming to Austin, Houston, and Dallas in June 26th, 27th, 29th. More information. We haven't officially. This is the first time I'm announcing it. So this is breaking news. This is breaking news right here.
Right now.
Right here. So you guys are the first ones to hear that. So be on the lookout. I'm going to be announcing it more online, and tickets will be sold. So if you're in Texas, near Texas, going to be some really dope people coming out with the show, and you get a chance to play the game as well. So this will be your chance. So check that out. Check out Dropout TV. Can't say much more than that because some things are coming down the pipe on that show involving myself. So that'll be fun. And at Jacquis Neal, I am finally starting to post more content online. I've started this week. My entire team is like, Negro, post more. So I'm gonna do that. We'll see how long it lasts. The more people engage with it, the more I'll do it. So I am entering the era of annoying social media creators. So let's see what we can do.
That's the game. You know,
you gotta what?
I said you don't have to apologize. You don't have to warn people.
You know, it's the game. It's the game. You know, and I'm gonna be showing whole. I'm showing whole too, just so everybody knows.
If you got to a certain
and look, it took too long. I got there, but it took too long. So you know, give me my first $1 million viral hit. I'll show whole.
Is there a work of media, social or otherwise, that you're liking?
I am a wrestling fan. WWE WrestleMania season is upon us. The main event of WrestleMania Night 2 is Cody Rhodes, the current WWE champion, against a heel, John Cena, who is a heel for the first time in over 20 plus years. It's been a very fun storyline. So yesterday, Raw or WWE has been in London Europe for the past 3 weeks. And Raw is now a Netflix production, so it comes on Netflix. Raw came out yesterday. The promo between Cody Rhodes and John Cena was happening. I'm going to play this because nobody will probably find this funny but me, but it was very funny. Cody Rhodes and John Cena are going back and forth. John Cena's a heelish heel, and Cody Rhodes says this to him.
John, you're still my hero. but you're also a piece of shit.
And I was like, I am fucking in. I am all the way in.
There's like a cadence to wrestler shit talk where like you already like that setup so clear, like you are my hero. And I'm
hero.
Long pause. Incredible
long pause. But you are also a piece of shit.
Yo, somebody just sent me, and I haven't watched wrestling really since I was a kid, but it was Cena. Now that he's basically pointing to a right to a child in the audience who's wearing John Cena gear, looks like him, and is like, you especially are pathetic, like to this child.
Dude, John Cena is on one right now. He's on one right now. It's very funny. I love it.
A little post from Blue Sky I'm liking is from @darthbluesky.bsky.social, just talking about the evolution of Blue Sky. Posted, cannot believe New York Times pitch bot is on Blue Sky. This place is going places. I could feel it. I'm like, yeah, come on over. Just come on over. You can find me on everywhere at Miles of Gray. You can find the show at The Daily Zeitgeist on Instagram, at Daily Zeitgeist everywhere else. And also, look, like I said, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper in some of the news we were talking about, just check the little episode notes right there on the app you're using right now. That's where you can find the footnotes. And that's
footnotes
off to all the articles we talked about, as well as a song we're going to go right out on. I would like to go out on a song by, speaking of Grays and people who are half Japanese, this is the artist Saya Gray, who's a Canadian Japanese artist. She's like a really dope bass player. She started playing bass in a Jamaican Pentecostal praise band. That's how she learned bass.
Fun.
And now she's just like a super duper cool fucking artist, super dope creator. This track is called HBW, and I encourage everybody to get into Saya Gray's work. Very interesting stuff there. So check that out. The Daily Zeitgeist is a production of iHeartRadio. So for more podcasts like that, check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your shits for free. We will be back later today to tell you what's trending. And until then, bye-bye.